What is going on, guys? Welcome to J Powell Music. Of course, if you can subscribe, that would be great. Like the videos as well, so they go around the internet. And today we're talking about Jermaine Dupree, pretty much responding to his initial tweet and the responses of his initial tweet regarding to him asking, what do independent artists want from 2025? And he mentioned how he doesn't know everything. Well, I'm glad he mentioned that because I just thought he knew everything until he mentioned it. So thanks for clearing that up, Jermaine Dupree. Really appreciate that. So I'm going to read this here from Complex. So it says here, Jermaine Dupree has responded to the criticism he received over a tweet about figuring out the goal of independent artists trying to make it in the industry. On Tuesday, Dupree shared a video on social media pages addressing the commotion from his tweet, and that he said people misunderstood it. JD has asked what the goal was for the independent artists, as he believed that everything they're chasing is what major artists do. So what makes them special? And the specific tweet was, I'm a little lost. Can someone tell me what the goal of being an independent artist is today? Because all the things that people are chasing is ish major artists do. What's the thing that indie artists do that make it special? Okay, so he responded this a few days later, saying the power went out and made me lose my beat. My interns are abusing their Uber budget, and ninjas on X talking ish about me asking a legitimate question about independent artists. Happy Friday. Continuing on, it says people caught wind of Dupree's tweet and heavily criticized him for his views, but now he cleared up the confusion, thank goodness, to help people understand his intentions about the initial tweets. In the caption of the explanation, Dupree made it clear he wanted to address everyone with actual information on the topic. Says more people call me and pod talk about it. I can see how people would think I was taking a shot at the independent community. I decided to address it with information, said Dupree. I'm sure most of y'all don't have about me in that space, so you can clearly see that that wasn't my intent. I find this really interesting, kind of funny too. It doesn't seem like his intent was that. I think that's just, and obviously, he cleared it up. So whatever else is said is kind of, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But, it's important as far as just what he said in the tweet. It doesn't sound like he's not trying to take a shot. It seems like there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of jab, a little bit of jab. What do these artists really want? This is stuff that majors do. What do you guys really want? I don't understand. Help me on that. So that is the interesting notion on that. But it kind of dives. It kind of deep dives as far as just a deeper conversation as far as for the people that did think that he was being malicious, and then responding as far as owning your masters, owning your royalties, the freedom to create, these are things that independent artists have been fighting for, and then a lot of people were just like, why are you even asking this? Like, are you serious? Like, yes, we've been trying to fight for this, yada yada. And I don't think it's just like the majors or the producers. I don't think it's a two-way street on this, right? So you have artists that sign bad deals, right? And then you have labels that give bad deals, um, either secretively through really complicated speak that probably a lawyer should look at, or just maybe not really believing in creating a deal in a way where the independent artists will never really be independent or never really get get their masters, right? So I think it's an interesting conversation because one of the biggest examples for me, I tend to think about often is Babyface and his deal that he did with Tony Braxton, right? And Babyface, I definitely give him obviously his credit. He's one of the greatest, renowned as one of the greatest producers, singers, songwriters of all time. But he did a really bad, shady deal with Tony Braxton. Knew about it, right? So and I feel like that isn't the. Obviously, there's multiple other examples in regards to that as well. However, how are artists putting themselves in a position to be independent and with owning their masters, owning their royalties. Are they reading contracts? Do they have legal representation? And it's a catch 22 because I don't know if that's the correct term, but sometimes artists are in a position where they don't even have that, and they kind of have to get screwed out of their deal in order to try to get some of their publishing back, or get some of their royalties or rights back, or get some of their masters back somehow. Doing five albums, X amount of years doing X, Y, and Z to even get anything, right? I know, what was it? I want to say it was J. Cole. There was one where it might not have been J. Cole. There was an artist that was working on that was signed to Jay-Z, and it took him like years to get out of this contract. And I wish I knew the name of the gentleman, but he put like, oh yeah, appreciate Jay-Z for all the support, whatever. And then everybody was like, it was X amount of years for him to even get out of that contract. Murray, right? Another example. Murray, he had to do like 200 songs before he could release his own stuff and have ownership of that, right? Murray's a super talented cat, man. Singer, rapper, songwriter. He gave 200 songs to his company, right? So it's like how deep do you want to be screwed before you start taking ownership? So it's just kind of a crazy situation that we're still dealing with that in 2025. And obviously everything else has been changed as far as for the infrastructure from a music standpoint. But very interesting. So I think tying it back to the Jermaine Dupree as far as what do you guys want? I don't understand, Oh, I was actually asking. Okay. Interesting. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Again, J Powell Music. Catch you guys next video. Thanks a lot.